We got a little bit more clarity as it pertains to the San Francisco 49ers quarterback job, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. They talked at the owners' meetings and all that. What does it all mean? What does it mean for Trey Lance? What does it mean for Jimmy Garoppolo? We're going to unpack all of that right now. You know what it is, man. San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked up by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And y'all know what it is, man. As usual, make sure y'all tune in to Locked On 49ers with myself, Brian Peacock. We come at you 5 days a week on the Locked On Network. Also, you see that Locked On Network shirt. Also, listen to Locked On NFL Draft with myself and Ryan Tracy. Last night, we had on our guy, John Harris. He covers the Houston Texans. And we talked about Kyle Hamilton, his draft stuff, all that good stuff. But, man, how's everybody doing this morning? Good morning. I see all my people from the 209. My brother Abel was good. Abel, y'all know that's my dog right there. We got another one from the 209, Sal. And when I say 209, y'all know what I'm saying? I mean real 209. And y'all know what that is, man. That's Stockton. So shout out to my brother Abel. You know what I'm saying? We've been down since 4th grade. Shout out to everybody from the 209. Shout out to everybody wherever you from. I see the flames coming in, so it lets you know everybody feeling good. I talked about it a little bit Monday, but it was my guy Abel said, I thought you was BJ. I know I got the ball head out, man. Got the ball head out today. Look at this tan. It's crazy. And I'm like, you know what, E? Just stop wearing a hat all the time. Got a mean tan line. All right. But I talked about it the other day. You know, I was at a tournament, and at the tournament, guy said, man, I'm trying to get those 5 flames. And that made me feel good, man. I'm like, man, dude must tune into the morning show. You know what I'm saying? He tunes into the morning show. So that's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Everybody filtering in. We got some good topics today and some good things to break down. I advise everyone. And again, you know what I'm saying? Eric Crocker, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no hater or nothing like that. I think there's enough content out there for everybody. But if you haven't already, make sure you listen to Matt Mayoko podcast. It's the 49ers Talk with Matt Mayoko and Laura Britt. And he goes really in depth in some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So I'll touch on those things as it pertains to Kyle Shanahan and some of the things that John Lynch, and some of the things he was talking about as it pertains to the quarterback situation. I will touch on those things. But if you want to hear like the more in-depth version and from like, you know, the actual source, listen to Matt Mayoko's podcast, him and Laura Britt. Make sure y'all tune in to that. It was really good. Really good stuff. Eric Crocker, Trey Lance going to have the same haircut as you in 10 to 15 years. I think it's going to be a little sooner than that. He's already thinning. When I was 21, 22 years old, I had long hair. I had dreads down to here. I had a lot of hair. I didn't cut my hair until like 25, 26 years old. And even then, I didn't even go bald until 31-ish, and I'm 34 now. So I mean, his hair is already gone. He's already thin. So good luck to Trey Lance and his hair journey. He might want to start using some products now. But anyways, man, let's get into it. We got some of y'all in here right now. Start with John Lynch. He's at the owners' meeting, and he starts to talk. And one thing about John Lynch, a lot of people be like, oh, they be lying. And he did lie about some certain things. All right. And what I mean by that, he kind of contradicted himself. I'll say that. He talked about at the combine how, and this is originally at the combine, he talked about how Jimmy Garoppolo and his shoulder surgery, having that or having him on the roster, it affected how aggressive they could be in free agency. Like he said that out of his mouth. It's a quote. It's a direct quote. I mean, we all heard it. He talked about plan A, plan B, plan C, all that stuff. And ultimately, like, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo being on there and $25 million worth, $27 million, whatever it is, that money kind of made it a little bit more difficult to be aggressive. As that should be the obvious, right? Like you have 25, 26, $27 million kind of sitting there and you can't utilize it. And there are a lot of people who are like, oh, well, they wouldn't have used it even if they, yes, they would have. Now, that's not to say that they would have used every single penny of Jimmy Garoppolo's money that would have been freed up, but they would have used some of it. Like, you'd be naive to think, you know what, maybe we wouldn't have paid, $1 million extra to maybe get $1 million a year extra to get a guy like Chandler Jones or something like that. They maybe would have. 49ers were interested in Chandler Jones. They didn't land him. The Oakland Raiders did. And right now, 49ers are up against the cap. So how much is it? How much of it is that they just couldn't do it? You know what I'm saying? So at the combine, that's what he said. He said, it affects how aggressive they could be. But then recently he says, oh no, it didn't change anything. Like, what? Like, you're contradicting yourself. So you're lying. So one of these is a lie. Which one is it? And I'll go with what he said at the combine, which, yeah, it makes it to where they can't be as aggressive. It definitely wasn't the plan. Also, some key things to take away from what Kyle Shanahan said at the owners' meeting. Or excuse me, I keep saying Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. We will get to Kyle Shanahan. But John Lynch, he made one thing very, 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 very clear. And there are a lot of people that will come up with conspiracy theories. Trust me, I get them all the time in my DMs. Conspiracy theories. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? You know what I'm saying? And my conspiracy theory is when you pay your third string quarterback, third string, we won't even call him third string because I don't think that's what they paid him to be. When you pay Nate Sudfeld, $2 million guaranteed, right? $2 million guaranteed, $3 million total or whatever. There is not one team that goes into it, especially considering the money that Jimmy Garoppolo is getting, and then Trey Lance, not as much, but it's like $9 million or whatever. And you're not spending an extra $3 million on top of that for a third string quarterback. So what that let me know is Nate Sudfeld was paid his guaranteed $2 million and the extra, million on top of that, whatever. But he was paid that $3 million to be the backup quarterback. The 49ers ideally do not carry 3 quarterbacks on their roster. They carry 2. Now, there was a unique situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard. Very unique situation. Remember, originally they had CJ Beathard, drafted him 3rd round. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. They went into 2018 with 2 quarterbacks. Those 2 quarterbacks were Jimmy Garoppolo and CJ Beathard. Nick Mullins was a practice squad quarterback. They kept 2 quarterbacks active on the 53-man roster. 2 quarterbacks active on the 53-man roster. It was those 2 guys. They were not trying to keep 3 quarterbacks. It wasn't until Jimmy Garoppolo got injured, then they had to elevate Nick Mullins. All right. So then now you still only have 2 quarterbacks active. Now, moving forward, I think they valued CJ Beathard. They valued Nick Mullins enough to where they kept 3 quarterbacks active. But that was not something that they wanted to do. Plus, they had both of those guys on really like rookie minimum contracts. They weren't paying those guys much. All right. So it's not like you're paying, well, you pay Jimmy Garoppolo his chunk of money, but then after that, CJ Beathard, 3rd round pick, late 3rd round pick too, like damn near 4th round pick, not making much money. Nick Mullins, not making money at all. I mean, like, not even vet minimum, like 2nd year, like minimum, 3rd year minimum, like wasn't making much money. All right. So you see those kind of situations and how it played out. Again, it was a very unique situation that they had to carry 3 quarterbacks. Fast forward to last season, they had on the 53-man roster 2 quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Now, I know a lot of people saw Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld was a practice squad quarterback, but they had the ability to make Nate Sudfeld. Gosh, shout out to Nate Sudfeld, man, from the 209. All right, went to Modesto Christian, I believe. But they had the ability to make Sudfeld a practice squad quarterback, and at any point they could bring him up. But they only kept 2 guys on the roster. 2 guys on the roster. All right, it was Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Now, if one of those guys went down, which it happened a couple of times, Sudfeld would be activated to the 53-man roster, which he originally was not on. So, again, 49ers want to keep 2 quarterbacks on their active roster. So when you go and pay Nate Sudfeld, why do I keep calling Nate Nuts? When you go and pay Sudfeld You are paying him to be the number 2 quarterback behind what it looked like to be Trey Lance as the starter. All right, so wanted to get that out of the way. Now, you listen to John Lynch and some of the things that he said, and he was very clear at the owners' meeting. They tried everything they could do to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. They tried to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think, again, go listen to Matt Malco, but once you hear a lot of that, it throws out the conspiracy theories of, well, why would they keep Trey Lance? Well, Trey Lance, well, maybe they're worried about where he's at. No, not worried at all. They tried to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, John Lynch went on to say, we had talks at the combine, and everybody said that, oh man, he's going to get traded at the combine. He's going to get traded at the combine. And I think the 49ers thought he was going to get traded at the combine too. John Lynch was in talks with teams. He said they were deep into talks with teams about Jimmy Garoppolo, about the trade, and then boom, they had a bomb dropped on him. He had to get surgery. Wouldn't be able to throw until July. I said on Twitter to someone, to me, reading between the lines of what John Lynch was saying at the combine, I thought he was caught off guard by it. Somebody was like, no, they knew. Like, yes, they knew that it could be an option, but Jimmy Garoppolo and his camp elected to go in a different direction to start. Oh, let's just do rehab. Let's do it that way. A month into it, they decided, not doing what we thought. Now we're going to get the surgery. 49ers were not expecting the surgery. I guarantee it. That threw off a lot of their plans. They knew initially, yes, it could be an option for Jimmy to get surgery. But, oh, no, you're going the rehab route. You're not going to do surgery. All right. Hey, teams. Hey, Washington. Nah, he's not getting surgery. He'll be ready by XYZ. Everything's going well. Come find out. Nope, got to get surgery. And John Lynch said it. That put a halt. To all of the trade talks for Jimmy Garoppolo. All the teams that are interested. And again, this is John Lynch saying it. You got to listen to Mayo Gold podcast. He talks in depth about it. John Lynch saying it. Because I don't think all the comments from John Lynch made it to social media. All right. From the owners meeting. But if you listen to Mayo Gold's podcast, he lays out all this. But anyways, he says, John Lynch, it threw everything off. They were trying to trade him. And they had multiple suitors. And once it came out that he had to get surgery, it stopped. And then everybody started kind of picking off these other quarterbacks. And they left the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo. That was not the plan. The plan was to get rid of him. And not get rid of him like that. They have more respect for him. But, yeah, we're moving on with Trey Lance. And the injury made it to where, no, Jimmy's still here. So that was from John Lynch's perspective. Again, if you want to hear that, listen to the Matt Malco podcast. It's called 49ers Talk with him and Laura Britt. He does an awesome job of breaking down that whole thing. And it made it very clear to me. They wanted to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. He was not in the plans. They tried to trade him. They can't trade him right now. Nobody wants him right now. And that happened as soon as the shoulder injury stuff came out. Everybody went different directions at the quarterback position. So you have, and we'll touch more on this, and obviously I'll get y'all input as well. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So then you have Kyle Shanahan, and he comes up, and he's asked some of the same questions. And I thought he did an amazing job. I had put on there how I was like, man, great response. Because what I heard, and it's crazy because different people hear different things. And I don't know if it's because if you hear what you want to hear, but I try to hear what they're saying. Like, what exactly is he saying? And from my understanding of what I heard Kyle Shanahan say was basically, hey, Trey Lance, he's the starting quarterback. This is a very unique situation. Trey Lance, remember, he was like, oh, he's mature enough to handle this. He knows what's going on. Trey Lance understands, hey, the only reason Jimmy Garoppolo is here right now is because we couldn't trade him because of the shoulder injury. He said Trey Lance is mature enough to understand that. He's mature enough. But with that being said, and people are like, well, who's the starting quarterback? Well, I'm not going to name a starting quarterback right now. I don't have to. But he did without doing it. He talked about Greasy, right? And how Greasy would help Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, Trey Lance. How Brian Greasy would help Trey Lance. He didn't mention Jimmy G. He was like, yeah, man, he's excited to coach Trey Lance, blah, 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 get it going. I think this is going to make better. He understands a lot of stuff we talked about when the hire happened. All right. Go back and listen to that if you haven't. But it's clear the direction that the 49ers are moving in, but the injury made it a little bit more difficult. Now, one thing that I understand it has to be this way. Ideally, if it were Eric Crocker, it probably wouldn't. I probably would just cut Jimmy Garoppolo. But I also understand that, hey, why cut somebody that's a good football player? And Jimmy Garoppolo, I know he takes a lot of stuff. He is not a bad football player. He's a good quarterback. And I think he has a lot of value. Now, do you value him at $27 million that you could roll over or save? And you have a guy in front of him that's making much less, not even half that. That's the tough part. Right? That's the tough part. Paying Jimmy Garoppolo $27 million to be a backup. This is my daughter's. I don't even know where it came from. Sorry. Paying Jimmy Garoppolo $27 million to be a backup. I don't think that's feasible. We'll get into that. Well, you can technically do it, but to me, it makes no sense. All right. But I did like how he said, you know what? Trey Lance is mature enough. He understands the situation. He understands why we're here. Essentially, Trey Lance understands why we just couldn't cut him. We couldn't trade Jimmy Garoppolo. He has a shoulder injury, so he's here. They don't have to make any definite statements because now, and I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be rehabbing away. Trey Lance, and this title is, Trey Lance's job to lose. Trey Lance, this job is yours. You have every opportunity to take hold of it. You have all of OTAs. You have all of minicamp to further let us know you are the guy. Kyle Shanahan said it. Hey, we were trading Jimmy Garoppolo because we feel like Trey Lance is ready. The trade just didn't happen. It's Trey's job to lose. Trey Lance can lose this, though. How does he lose it? Well, if he goes in and he's not as prepared as he could be going into OTAs. Just continue to, trend upward, which he's been doing, sounds like. Work really hard. Right now, Trey Lance has to be preparing. I am the starter. I'm not going to let anybody take this job from me. As long as Trey Lance goes and do that, he will be the starting quarterback. Now, at some point, there could potentially be a camp battle. And I know a lot of people talk about that. Here's the interesting thing that happened last year. And one of the things that Kyle Shanahan said as well. Kyle came out and said, well, Trey Lance is better suited to be able to beat Jimmy Garoppolo out right now. Jimmy's a good quarterback. That's not easy to do. Trey Lance was not ready to do it last year. And it's just so interesting because, again, I listen to Mayoko a lot. And Mayoko was a guy who was very pro Mac Jones. And he had a lot of questions about Trey Lance. And didn't think Trey Lance would be able to come in and play at a high level right away. He would need a long time, a year or two, to become the guy that Kyle Shanahan wants him to be. Those were pretty much Melko's thoughts. He was more, Mac Jones come and play right away. Trey Lance, I got to sit. As soon as training camp happened, and in his words, basically, I was wrong. Like, this dude, Trey Lance, is ready. He came in. He's hitting on all cylinders. Like, wow. He was thrown off. He was thrown off. Do any of y'all watch Euphoria? Do any of y'all watch Euphoria? I just binge watched season 2. And when Rue told about gosh, I can't think of the characters' names right now. Not Lexi, that's his sister. But anyways, one of the girls was smashing Nate. All right. And Nate's ex-girlfriend and the girl he's smashing, they're best friends. All right. And Rue was like, she's smashing Nate. And everybody was like, what? And she's like, she was like caught off guard. She didn't even know what to say. Right? No, I didn't. Like she was caught off guard, right? And that's what it felt like Mayoko. Like Mayoko was caught off guard by what he was seeing from from Trey Lance. He was really excited. He couldn't even hold his Cassie. There we go. Cassie's the one that was smashing Nate. All right. Mayoko couldn't even hold his excitement in. And it was kind of caught off guard. It's like, man, he's further along than I thought. Well, Kyle Shanahan shut it down. So it is interesting to hear Kyle come out and say, well, he wasn't ready to beat him out last year. And I think that's ready in the sense of whatever Kyle felt like he wants from his quarterback, as opposed to just a guy just being more talented than the other guy. All right, but cool. But Trey Lance is more suited to be able to beat out Jimmy Garoppolo now. And that's not to say that he is. He has to do it. But it definitely was very interesting hearing all of the comments, especially when you hear the media and all the things that they say about the quarterback situation, all the things that they say about Trey Lance. Listen, I want to make it clear. I know it comes off as like, because you see this a lot, right? You have a pro Jimmy side and you have a pro Trey Lance side, right? You have people that are just Trey Lance, he's not ready. He needs to do this. He needs to sit. He needs to all this, that, and the other. No, Jimmy Garoppolo is better. Mac Jones, they should have won with Mac Jones. You have those people, right? Like, and it's like people that they stake their flag on one side or the other. You have some people that really want to see Trey Lance. Some people that just don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo. Like me, listen, guys, I try to, like, what is best for the team? What makes sense for the team? What makes sense in a situation where you've invested so much in Trey Lance? So my vision, or the way I see things, is you need to be doing everything possible to get Trey Lance to become the guy that you need him to be. So that's the way I speak to y'all. That's the way I talk. To me, everything is about Trey Lance. That is the guy that you use 3 first-round picks on. Number 3 overall pick, and then the 2 future picks. You use 3 first-round picks on him. So for me, I view everything from the standpoint of how do you get him up to speed and what is best for him moving forward? Because the sooner you get him up to being what you believe that he can be, at that point, the 49ers are better for it. I talked about it last night a little bit on Locked On 49ers, and I was watching Justin Herbert, right? I'm watching, it's on NFL Network. It's the Browns against the Chargers, and it was like this electric game, right? I mean, it was like the final score was like 45-41 or something like crazy like that, 46-41. All right, and I'm watching Justin Herbert, and we all know how amazing he is, and the numbers he did as a rookie, and all, like, I mean, it was exciting, right? Like, amazing quarterback. There are some people that believe that he is a top 5 quarterback now. Talking about Justin Herbert. While I was watching Justin Herbert, I'm just watching to see what it looks like. And I did not see a more talented quarterback than Trey Lance. I didn't see that. Now, that's not saying Trey Lance is as good as him. That's not saying Trey Lance will ever be as good. But how do you get Trey Lance to that point? One of the biggest differences I thought is he just looks more comfortable as a passer. Well, he should be. He played 4 years at Oregon. He was like 4-year starter at Oregon. A lot of people thought he would have been the number 1 pick if he went the year before. Somehow he slipped to number 7. But he's a 4-year quarterback at Oregon. He's throwing a lot of passes. He just looked comfortable throwing the ball. Trey Lance, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But I didn't see a more talented quarterback than Trey Lance. Not saying Trey Lance is more talented than him, but I see more talented. So Trey Lance has all that ability, which he does. You've seen it in him moments. How do you get him up to speed? My thoughts have always been the sooner you do that, the more dangerous your team is. So a lot of you that have been tuned into the YouTube channel for a year now, or at least last offseason, you heard me saying I would let Jimmy Garoppolo go. I would roll over that money, and you'd have $52 million to put towards the roster this year. And Trey Lance would have a year under his belt to where he's better suited for whatever comes year 2. Those are my thoughts. That's not a hindsight thing. And my thoughts on that were because it has to be about what's best for Trey Lance. Whatever is best for him will be best for the 49ers in the long run. Now, that might not have been what's best for Kyle Shanahan in the moment, because Kyle Shanahan had 1 winning season in 4 years. So there was a different level of urgency that he needed to play with. So from that standpoint, Kyle, I get it. You got to go with Jimmy because you can't risk 1 winning season in 5 years, which is definitely possible. If you go to rookie, you don't know what you're going to get. But to me, it was like everything's got to be about Trey Lance. So that's how I view it. This is not I'm just so Trey Lance and forget Jimmy Garoppolo. We hear that. Oh, I just want to see Trey Lance. I just don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. We hear that. That's not my stance. I just look at it from the standpoint of you invest a lot in this kid. He possesses a ton of talent. How do you get him to where you need to be? When you see these other quarterbacks and some of the things that they've done and what they've gone through, they had to go through ups and downs. It's inevitable. Now, that's a whole different topic, right? You have Trey Lance. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, Trey Lance beats out Jimmy Garoppolo in training camp. Well, you still got $27 million sitting on the bench. And the moment Trey Lance has a hiccup, he's going to be looking over his shoulder as long as Jimmy Garoppolo is there. Now, I think you all remember 2018 season, week 1, the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Does anybody remember what happened in that game? What did Jimmy Garoppolo do that game? I'll let you know if you don't remember. Jimmy Garoppolo against the Minnesota Vikings, week 1, threw 3 interceptions. 3. 1 being a pick 6. 3 interceptions. But nobody, not one of you fans was looking at him or speaking on anybody else to come in and help, right? There was no, dang, Jimmy Garoppolo, week 1, he throws 3 picks, loses to the Minnesota Vikings, a pick 6. Man, you got to go to CJ Beathard. No, he never had to look over his shoulders. Man, let me play through it, as he should. Play through it, right? And you go to the Lions game, and that game almost, remember, he threw that pick, down there, pick 6 at the end of the game. It was like, wow, about to lose to the Lions. They call holding away from the throw. He had his moments, but he never had to look over his shoulder. He was always able to play through it. Hell, week 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jimmy throws a pick 6. Looked really weird, really rocky. The passing game didn't look too great. It's okay, play through it. You don't have to look over your shoulder. Trey Lance, with Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, will not be able to have those type of performances. Because at the end of the day, the 49ers won games with Jimmy Garoppolo. Even though Jimmy had all these weird moments, everybody looks over because there was never a better option or even the thought of a better option. A young quarterback like Trey Lance is going to have his ups and downs, as we saw with Jimmy Garoppolo, who was a 5-year veteran. And he had his moments. Those things are going to happen. But do you have the luxury of those things happening with Jimmy Garoppolo sitting behind you? That is the question. I think that, Trey Lance, what does it mean for his confidence? And Kyle thinks the world of him. I think the world of his mentality. But there is a human element to this. And regardless of the business aspect of things, those things are still in your head. That's it. That's all for my rant. So y'all know what it is, man. Y'all want to come on, talk about it. The link will be in the chat right now. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Over 200 of y'all right now. Let's go. Here we go. Come on live. If you haven't already, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope I'm explaining things well. Definitely don't want to be misunderstood or anything like that. That happens a lot. Somebody came at me and was like, "Oh, I stopped listening to Crocs. I stopped listening to Crocs." What did he say? He basically stopped listening to my takes because I said, and this is a crazy thing how people hear things, right? I said, in his eyes, Mac Jones is not better than Nick Mullins. In his ears, his eyes, like that's what he saw on Twitter. When that's not what I said. I said Mac Jones is a Kyle Shanahan quarterback, which I was on board with that from the jump. I was the first person. I bet if you're going to go back, I was the first person to say that. And everybody hears me say, air that hoe out. It started with Mac Jones. When I said it with Mac Jones, like he's the most Kyle Shanahan quarterback in that class. He's willing to air that hoe out. I like Mac Jones' game. I thought that would be somebody that fit the 49ers. Now, I said this in like August or September or something like that. And at that moment, you're not thinking that he was going to be even considered to be a top 10 quarterback. I didn't see that, but I just saw somebody that fit what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. And later on in the process, I had said, when I went back and watched Nick Mullins in college. I'm like, man, what does it look like? And I was like, damn, Nick Mullins in college, it kind of looks like Mac Jones, but without a great supporting cast. Now, that's not me saying that Mac Jones was not the better prospect. Clearly, he is. I consider him a somewhat of a first-round pick, definitely second round. Like, that's just how I viewed him. Did some things very well. Maybe not the highest in the sense of talent that he possesses. That's whatever. I see Kyle Shanahan went with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Mac Jones does some things a little bit better than Jimmy. Definitely think he's better than Nick Mullins, but I see some similarities in their game. But because I said that, I stopped listening to Croc's takes. It's just like, man, you guys get so bent out of shape over this stuff. I'll talk Croc. I want to get your thoughts on Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor. Oh, yeah, and I got a caller coming on, so we're going to get to that. But Thornton, I went and watched him. And I think because he goes to Baylor, they're going to – and obviously he ran the fastest 40 at the combine, 4.28 or whatever he ran for the receivers. Fastest receiver at the combine, 4.26, whatever it was. Because he went to Baylor and he ran fast, there are going to be a lot of people that say, Denzel Mims. And when I watched him on films, I didn't see Denzel Mims. Matter of fact, Denzel Mims was my wide receiver 14. He was my wide receiver 14. I did not like Denzel Mims. I thought he was this really high cut, very stiff receiver. I mean, watching him do one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl, it was like his knees didn't even bend. It was like his everything just, it's like his knee didn't even bend. It's like, you got a knee, you can bend. Like, he was so stiff, which is crazy because he had a terrific 3-cone. It was like a really good 3-cone. And I was so confused. How the hell did he have that kind of 3-cone when he is so damn stiff? That started having me kind of view the 3-cone a little bit different. Maybe he just know how to run it. All right. But Tyquan Thornton is going to get those kind of comps because he's fast. He goes to Baylor. He's tall, thin guy, like Denzel Mims. But I think he has a little bit more twitch to him. I think he has a little bit more suddenness to him. And he's definitely not as stiff. He's definitely a guy who, if I'm the 49ers, I kind of look into him. I see Corey Coleman. That's who y'all think he kind of plays like, or maybe reminds you of, because another Baylor guy. But yeah, man, I mean, Tyquan Thornton, I like him. Now, how high do I like him? I wouldn't draft him day one. Probably wouldn't even draft him day two. He does do some really good stuff, though. Contested catch, I thought he was terrific with that. His speed jumps off the chart. Maybe I would take, like, if we're saying like third round, I would take him third round. His speed, it just jumps right at you. I remember watching him in the red zone, and it was really cool seeing him kind of get short area separation because a guy that's so fast, you like, oh, he's just a strider, but he just ran away from guys, even in the red zone, even inside the 10. It was really cool to see. Contested catches as well. I mean, he's fast. He plays every bit as fast as his 40-yard dash time. I didn't think Mims played as fast. People should listen to more people that have the opposite takes. Important to get different opinions than your own is how progress happens. 100%. And I try to do a lot of that. That's why I listen to certain people. Mayoko through. I listened to him. I didn't. Oh man, Mayoko. He's not as high on Justin Fields. He's not as high on Trey Lance. Let me not listen to him. And again, I think a lot of it, he's kind of regurgitating some of the things that he's hearing. But I didn't say, well, you know what? Let me turn this off because his thoughts don't align with mine. Which I thought Justin Fields was the most talented quarterback in that class. And I also said if there's any quarterback I would take in this class, it would be Trey Lance. But if somebody had a different opinion than me, like, all right, like, let's talk about it. And it's crazy because Twitter is a place where people are not willing to talk about things. They have their perspective, they have their view, and that's what it is. And if it doesn't align with that, and I think people have these like narratives or like they're so biased in their opinion. They are so biased. And I see it sometimes in the chat. It's like, got to be this way. Whether you're pro Trey Lance, pro Jimmy, Mac Jones, whatever, it's like, it's got to be that. And it's like, nah, man. I could see, a scenario of 49ers winning in several of these situations as it pertains to, a quarterback that they potentially could have gotten. I love everybody. I see all the quarterbacks I see now, again, when you start to look into them as a prospect, you can like I'll see the ups, I'll see the downs. I'll project them as a prospect, but I do not know what a guy is going to be. Now you can say, see what are they most likely going to be, and is Trey Lance most likely going to be Josh Allen? Most likely he will not. Does he possess the talent to be able to become that? Of course. Mac Jones, will he most likely become Tom Brady? Most likely not, right? Like he's most likely going to be a Cousins, Jimmy G type, Derek Carr kind of in that realm. Now, will I say that's 100% what he's going to be? Maybe he will be Tom Brady. I don't know. I think he can be a really good quarterback in the NFL. But it's crazy how everybody, this guy will be, or he won't be this, or this is all this guy will ever be. And it's like, dude, we have enough examples of guys that, like, they prove you wrong. But it's like, oh, yeah, I said this and not, all right. Okay, my guy, Curly Daddy. I know he says McCorkle has already hit his ceiling. See, I don't think so. I would say that, okay, why can't everybody else get better but Mac Jones can't? Man, good morning. How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Do you think that Mac Jones has hit his ceiling?
No. I mean, I think his floor was a little higher and his ceiling's lower, but I don't think he's hit his ceiling. I mean,
right.
I don't what rookie has really hit their ceiling? I don't think any rookie has hit their ceiling. I mean, do you think you hit your ceiling when you were 21 years old, 22? No.
Right. And I think with that, again, people, and I see my guy in the chat, he says, because he's limited with quotes. And I'll say this, people try to push their limitations on other people, right? Like I remember when I was going back to junior college to try to get a scholarship, play football and stuff like that. And a coach told me, like, oh, don't you think it's a little too late for that? You can't do it. He tried to put his like limitations or whatever he thought on me. Don't put your limitations on me. You don't know what I'm capable of doing.
Right.
Same thing when after my senior year in college, I remember my coach was like, hey, these arena teams, they're looking into you. They really like you, but I don't know if you can play. And it's like, don't put your limitations on me. Not only did I play, I balled out. I ended up going to the NFL from there. When I went back to the Arena League, I was the number 1 overall pick in that draft. I ended up winning the Arena Bowl championship. Like I excelled. Like, don't put your limitations on me. So that's why you'll never see me put limitations on Mac Jones. Now, can I give analysis on this game? Are there certain areas that are strengths and weaknesses? Like, of course, I think we could do that with everyone, but you still don't know how they can work around that and how good they could potentially be. So that's kind of my spill on that.
I mean, right. Obviously, like he did play on the highest level and won on the highest level. So I mean, he has a lot of accomplishments, and I don't know that anybody is tapped out at that age. I mean, there's always potential for more, and you don't have to go as far as Trey Lance to look at that situation, right? Because Trey Lance was told you're not a quarterback, right? And he said, yes, I am, and he went to NDSU and he proved it.
Right. Yeah, and I saw my guy. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see it right here. Here's a good one. Says, I want Lance to be Lance, not Josh Allen or whatever your comp is. Let's get your own franchise quarterback. I don't think it's in the sense of a lot of people just like, hey, what is the upside of this guy? So you just look at guys that have immense talent and you see, you know what, he could be some version of that. Not saying he's Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is different than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is different than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is different from, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're all going to be their own unique players. But just in the sense of like, hey, my quarterback can do this and that. Because when we were watching, I know we all watched the game, the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. And you saw just how special they were at the end. And I don't know about you, Coach, but I know me. I want one of those. It just looks different. So that's all. It doesn't mean that these guys, Trey Lance is going to be Josh Allen or anybody like that. But it's just like, man, you just want him to be special and maybe talked about in the same light.
Yeah.
That's why you draft a guy number 3 overall. But go ahead.
I think if you watch football enough, and a special quarterback or a high level quarterback on really any level of football, maybe not so much like Pop Warner, but from high school on, like a really top level quarterback will really elevate your team. That's where the game is now. And for me, it probably accounts for like at least 2 players. Like if you have that level of quarterback, it's like for me at least equal to 2 players. And it's on the college level, it's on the NFL level, probably even more so on the NFL level because of salary cap and the way the game is structured and all of that. But throughout the game, even over probably the last 15 years in high school, it's like that now, the way the game is. A special quarterback can really take a team to another level. And it's hard to defend against.
Right. Nah, definitely. So what are your thoughts on some of the things that have come out as it pertains to the coaches, the owners? You had a lot of conversation, with John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan. What have you been hearing?
Well, I like the thought that or what Shanahan said is that Trey and him has been talking every day, because I think that relationship is so important. So if he said that they talk nearly every day, and who knows if that's instigated by Trey Lance or it's instigated by Kyle, but either way, they're talking every day. That's important, and I think that shows you probably where this is going, because if you should be talking to your quarterback every day, so I thought that was very positive. It seems like a lot of the they're not coming outright and saying it, but they're kind of giving you hints that what their plan is, and it's probably because with the whole Jimmy situation, they still want to be able to trade him, so they don't want to come outright and say he's not going to compete or he's not going to be on the roster. And then there's also the effect of the roster still has a certain attachment to Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think they're kind of careful of that too.
Right. And I think that's something that they should be careful of. There are a lot of players in that locker room that really respect Jimmy Garoppolo and what he had to play through. Everyone that you hear talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I keep hearing the same thing, like, if people knew behind the scenes, like what he's had to go through. So clearly, like his players, like, man, they respect him. And I think they respect him enough, and not just the players, but obviously the coaching staff as well, to not kick him out the door. Say, hey, I'm pretty sure they want to make sure that they find the right situation for him and for them as well. Move him on, but do it with a certain level of respect. Everyone involved in this situation understands the dynamic of what's going on here. And it was always going to be or end with Jimmy Garoppolo off the roster at some point.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest reason why he can't come time to camp. He can't be on the roster because there's obviously players on this team that believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. You can't have those guys questioning Trey Lance. You can't have them. They need to believe. They need to believe. Like it's almost like like when you get you get stuck on the island, and the captain like sabotages the boat so you can't go back. Like that's what they gotta do. Like they gotta sabotage the boat so they can't go back. Like there's no Jimmy Garoppolo. And you talked about it before in your cast. Like you gotta push your chips in with Trey Lance. You invested so much capital in him. You have to give him the best opportunity to be successful. And it's gonna be really difficult if there's a $25 million quarterback that's taken this team to the Super Bowl, that people that guys on the team believe in looking over his shoulder. Like that's not a good situation. And I think for him to be successful, Jimmy Garoppolo can't be there. And then you get the cap space, obviously, but
right. But man, Coach, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get to the next caller.
Go ahead, man.
All right, you have a good one. Here we go. Got my guy Twin Power coming on. Ricky Williams. Real quick, my guy, Mr. Spicy 559. He said, "What's good, Croc? Hey, how would you have fared against Arena God Barry Wagner?" I think Barry Wagner is probably a little bit before my time, but obviously he played for the SaberCats, so I know who he is. And the reason why he sticks out in my mind the most is because he wore number 2. And as you can see, I got my little number 2 chain on. I wore number 2 in the arena, and it was retired with the SaberCats. I could not wear number 2. I was really upset about that, and I couldn't because Barry Wagner played so well that it got retired. So I had to wear number 6. Y'all see the number 6 right there in the frame behind me. But that's how I feel about Barry Wagner, man. He made it to where I couldn't wear my number. Here we go. I got Ryan. What's good, Ryan, man? Good morning.
What up, though, Neo? How you doing, man? I heard you so sick of love songs, man. What's up?
I know. Yeah. It's a little, I do got a little Neo vibes going on right now. I can see that.
Nah. It's all Gucci, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about when you were saying his Trey Lance could be a comp could be Josh Allen, but we all know that Josh Allen's offense is totally different than what the Niners offense is. You know how back in the day when you get mad and you can change your offensive playbook, you know what I'm saying, as far as how you want your team to run the offensive playbook. In your world, if you had the ability to be the offensive coordinator of the Niners, what offensive scheme would you want to run for Trey Lance? Because we know you can't go into training camp running the same plays that we ran last year. It's not that Trey Lance can't, but Kyle Shanahan was like, it was kind of hard for him to kind of get out of that mode of running plays for Jimmy Garoppolo and then switch over to Trey Lance. So we know that's another reason why Jimmy might not be there as well, because his offensive mentality is going to change. So I'm just wondering, what type of offensive playbook would you like to see the 49ers run or start to implement a little bit?
I think you do run a lot of. I think a good example of that is the Houston Texans game, right? They changed the play calling. What they did against Arizona with Trey Lance, if you watch that game and what they emphasized as opposed to what they ran against Houston, were pretty kind of night and day. They definitely did not rely on his legs as much. He was under center a lot more. I thought that they didn't do package stuff with Trey Lance because, man, they want to develop him to be a pure quarterback, like not just this gadget guy. Now, they'll implement those things, but I definitely think they want to limit it, right? I assume you'll see 7 to 8 carries a game from Trey Lance. Like, you're just going to see that, but you won't see 16. Okay. I think that he definitely can run the Jimmy Garoppolo offense, but you just have a little bit more added things to it. I think the biggest difference that you'll see is Trey Lance with his eyes is just more aggressive than Jimmy Garoppolo. So the way Jimmy sees the field and what he's comfortable throwing, he's comfortable throwing, like getting the ball out of his hands right now, right? Quick throws, ball out of his hand, boom, hit guys in stride. I don't know how much the plays calls changed, but obviously we saw a more aggressive style with Trey Lance. And if you look at kind of how some of the plays were designed, they were quick hitters. There were things in there. He kind of bypassed that and would be a little bit more aggressive with some of his throws. So I still think they do a lot. Like, the concepts are the same. I think it's getting Trey Lance to buy into more. Hey, you can get the ball out of your hands right now and kind of learn a little bit more when you can and maybe shouldn't be as aggressive. And obviously you're going to see more of the second reaction type throws. I think Trey Lance is definitely comfortable with that as well. But if I'm going into the offense with Trey Lance right now, it's getting him to be as comfortable as possible, getting the ball out of his hands right now. Like, that's the next step I would like to see him take.
Cool.
I don't think you got to change up the playbook too much.
Appreciate you for letting me hop on there. Continue to do.
All right, all good. Yeah. Appreciate you coming on.
I agree, because I still like the mentality. Yeah. All
right, but yeah, oops, I didn't mean to do that. You will see more of certain things, right? Like right here, you see more boot action, more waggles, the real Shanahan offense. I do think that Kyle Shanahan's offense, and everybody, Shanahan's offense. And it's like, man, I don't even know what the fuck Kyle Shanahan's offense is. With Atlanta, again, he has concepts. The concepts don't really change. I think a lot of it is one, how the quarterback sees it and what his strengths are. And then based on that, you'll see certain things. If anybody who has watched all 22 of 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo, the deep shots are there. He elects not to take it. And he takes more of a route that he's comfortable with doing, which is fine. He was efficient doing that. They're a little bit more dangerous. And you heard Chris Sims say it, right? Chris Sims, crazy because Chris Sims had Trey Lance, his QB6 in this class, I believe it was, right? And because he had him behind, he had Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Kellen Mond, Justin Fields, and then Trey Lance. And come the end of the season, he was like, man, if I'm the 49ers, I'm rolling with Trey Lance because he makes your offense more dangerous and less risky. Those were his exact words. Trey Lance makes the 49ers offense more dangerous, less risky. The way that Jimmy sees the field is just a riskier way to live. He throws a lot over the middle, and that's why we see a lot of those interceptions from Jimmy Garoppolo. Where are they? Linebackers, overthrows, interceptions to the safeties, or where Trey Lance, just the way he sees it, he's willing to throw the outside passes. But if you watch all 22, those deep balls for Trey Lance, or excuse me, Jimmy Garoppolo, they were there. He didn't want it. He went with what he was more comfortable with. And the 49ers won a lot of games with that. So that's not to say that it's the wrong way. It's just different. So when people say, "Oh, Kyle Shanahan's offense," I think it changes based on how the quarterback sees the field. I think a lot of the concepts are the same. Might do some more different things. There was a point where Jimmy Garoppolo was in shotgun more this year. I think that was specific to Jimmy Garoppolo. Or he had dead less bootlegs or play actions at some point in the season. And he was highly efficient doing it. How Kyle's going to adjust to it, but all quarterbacks, they see the field different. They got different strengths and weaknesses. But I don't know if you have to like change the entire offense. I think just maybe the way you kind of view things. Here we go. Got my guy Dion. Dion, bro, where the hell have you been? People have asked in chat. They're like, man, we haven't seen Dion. Like, what's going on? I tried to search your name on Twitter. I'm like, how the hell am I spelling his name wrong? What's his at? I can't find him. I hope this dude ain't in jail or I ain't know. Yeah.
No, Brody. I've been here, man. It's just I've been people out there. I've been working, and it's a new job, so I had to like dig in, bro. So when it's a new job and you got new stuff that you're learning, you got to dig in and dig in hard, man. The Lord blessed me with a great opportunity, so I'm just taking full advantage of it, brother. Believe me, I still keep an eye on you. I watch. I make sure I hit the like button, man. And it ain't no love lost. I just been grinding, man. Trying to make sure I keep this money together. I got 2 trips in a row coming up, man. I got to take the wife to Corpus Christi for her birthday because she's a big Selena fan, and now I'm gonna head out to the Bay Area, man, for mine. So. It's gonna be cool, but yeah, man, I'm good. I appreciate everybody asking about me in the chat. It ain't nothing but love to everybody in the chat, man. I love all of y'all. Glad that we all Niner fans, man. Crocky, I see you with the shave. I like it, man. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then we just take it clean off. Ain't nothing wrong with it, baby.
Well, I got to shave every few days, so I'm always shaved. I just always wear hats. But I got this mean tan. I don't know if you guys are able to see it with the lighting right now, but it's like it's ugly tan because I was at my son's track meet. So I'm like, you know what? Just stop wearing the damn hats all the time, man. Just go bald. You'll be all right. So I'm embracing it.
I'm believe me, man. Once it get to that point, believe me, I'm gonna be there with you, bro. I ain't about to hold on to nothing that ain't there. Believe you me. But yeah, man. It's been a lot going on in 49er land, bro. And for me, I've just understood the reality that Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the roster until he can clear a physical. Once he can clear a physical, they will try to trade him. And I'm of the mindset that most likely if they are unable to trade him, that they will have to cut him. Only because of what you just said, it's the locker room divide. You don't need that. You've got people in there that may look at you and go, hey, man, he's healthy. He knows the system. Why is he not in? And you don't want that. If Trey is truthfully your guy, I know I've been very upset in Spaces and a couple other places and saying, like, long story short, I don't want him on the team, but I've come to the reality that, you know, he's going to be here until they can find a way to get rid of him. But if my only thing that I want John and Kyle to do is make sure that locker room knows who the man is. That's all you got to do. We as fans, the media, anybody else, we're going to have to wait. They don't care how we feel. They've obviously shown that since they've been here. My thing is, please make sure that locker room is full and lockstep behind Trey Lance if he is truly the guy. Make sure they know. You can tell them, hey, say nothing to the media, but this is the guy. You can't hide that from them because then you're going to leave the door open, shout out Silk Sonic, to wind up, having a lot of problems in there, man. And I don't want a lot of dissension within the ranks, because the line has to be behind it. I can tell you right now, Brandon Ayuk is definitely behind it because he's been fucking with Trey from day one. He did not come out in support of Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's like you have to have everyone there to be smart enough, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to do that and make sure that the locker room knows what's up and just tell them, hey, your job is to keep your mouth shut. If you don't, there will be consequences. And I'm pretty sure everybody can keep a tight lid on things. I understand it. I get it to an extent. But that's all you really got to do. And then this Jimmy Garoppolo saga will be over. The next thing is the draft. And then they gave me a little more a small sense of calm to a point where they keep mentioning that they weren't able to be as aggressive in free agency because he's here. But the thing is, he is on the roster, and the only way you're going to be able to do anything is if you decide to take that $7.5 million that you got to pay him for the injury clause. But you don't want to do that. You want to say, you know what, that's that. The only thing I don't like is, I would say, stop propping him up to be something he's not, because he's not better than what he already is. Everybody has the tape. Everybody knows the injury history. Like, this is not wool you can pull over somebody's eyes. You know what he is. You've got tape to know how he's going to be when he's there. The only difference is you have to figure out how he fits into your system for whatever team he goes to. And, it's they're in a catch-22, kind of like the Browns, because they got to find a way to move Baker. But there's no one there that really needs Baker. The Carolina Panthers ain't calling for him, and nobody's calling for Jimmy. So that tells you that his value isn't that much. All of the quarterback-needy teams, and Jimmy wasn't – nobody called to ask about this dude, but he just wins. So that tells you that wins definitely ain't a stat that people looking at in the real world. They're going – I need to see what you can be on the field. My idea is I'm looking at the whole body of work. He does make some clutch plays here and there. He does have a quick release, but he is known to make a boneheaded play, high probability to go ahead and throw an interception, at least once, twice a game. That's basically how it works. So that's the draft is the next focus. We're going to have to figure out this offensive line because we don't technically have a left or right guard. I don't know how to feel about Aaron Banks because we never really saw much, and there's not really a lot being said about him. Trey Sermon looks good in his offseason workouts. Trey and Ayuk look good. So we'll see what happens. And also, the bigger indicator that Jimmy is gone is that they gave Nate Sudfeld that money. And then you're going to have Trey. And then you're not going to invest $40 million combined into 3 quarterbacks. That's what one is getting paid on.
Not if you don't have to. Well, if you do, that defeats the purpose of having a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Exactly.
Right? Like, typically, you got a quarterback on a rookie contract. He has a lot of talent. All right, we want to build around him. But if you have 3 quarterbacks totaling $40 million or close to it, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of that. So, yeah, I agree for that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like the Charvarius Ward signing. The little young kid Ray, him and Hufanga gonna have hair wars, man, because he came out with the locks, boy. He had the locks out there, man. I remember my hair used to be like that. That was a long time ago, though, bro. It was a long time ago. Yeah. But I think as long as we figure out the O-line, man, and it's set and they're able to mesh and gel with Trey properly, then we'll be okay. I'm starting to get a little more calm. In the beginning, I was really upset, and I was going in and going hard. But, the only thing now that I really do is just try to focus on what we're going to do in the draft And, when people try to defend Jimmy, of course, I always have my points to shut down, but it is what it is. He'll be where he is, and wherever he goes, they've got, a okay to good quarterback, and he'll do what he does. And, it is what it is. I can't dwell on it anymore. I just want to be able to make sure that the draft is coming up and we get some good picks. Please, dear Lord, right now on Croc Show, I am praying do not draft another edge rusher with the first pick that we have in the goddamn draft. I'm tired. I do not want to see another edge rusher. It is annoying. You have Kerry Hyder back. Here's the thing. When he was under Kasarik, what did he have? 8.5 sacks. If you can generate 8.5 sacks off that side, then Nick Bosa should definitely be able to create exactly what he has when he didn't even have that. And I believe that Charles Omenihu is going to get better. That's my silent guy for this year. Charles Omenihu, people watch for him. I feel like he is going to flourish in the system because it'll be his second year, and instead of pressures, he'll create sacks. I'm hopeful Javon can be able to be ready to go. I'm not going to roll with giving him a nickname yet because he hasn't done enough to really garner one. I know he's calling himself the Barbarian. Well, get Barbarian on the field, baby, and I'll get right behind you. I'm pulling for you. I want you to do great, but nicknames got to be earned, man. Monikers aren't just, you don't just hand them out like candy. You got to earn that. Deion didn't become the greatest cornerback ever by just going out on the field and playing every Sunday. He went out on the field and he did things that people couldn't do. That's the only man one of the very few men to play a baseball game and a football game on the same day and ball out in both games.
Yeah.
That's why he's my favorite athlete of all time. But appreciate you, Crocky, man. It's nothing but love. I will try to get back on as much as possible. I'm here.
Yeah.
Just, hey, man, I'm working, man. Y'all, everybody out there in the chat, y'all know how it is. I got to feed my family, man. I got 5 kids, so I got to do that. And, are you going to the draft, Crocky, or not?
Nah, I got a Locked On Network sending me to Dallas. I'm a little upset because everybody about to be in Vegas having a good old time, man. And I really want to be there. So Locked On.
I know, man. And I'm a go because I want to go to the draft, and then plus I'm lucky because I could go and I'll have to go to a hotel. I can stay with my sister because she out there, so I can tell her like, hey, I'm coming through. Leave the door open, we good, and I could post up there and still be able to hang out. And it's close to me. Arizona and Vegas. That's probably about a 4-hour drive. Maybe 3.5 if you get on that gas, but. With the price of gas, you want to be careful now.
Y'all gas tripping out there on the West Coast.
Wait, how much you at?
Like 380.
Damn. Well, we at about 460 out here in Arizona, almost $5. California, they got some places for $8. They out there doing the most. It's crazy, Croc. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get up with you, bro. I won't take up too much more of your time. Thank you for having me on, and I will do my best to get back on. Appreciate everybody in chat. Nothing but love. Go Niners, and keep it balling and sexy, Croc. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you know
what I'm saying. Just tell them that, let them know, man. And then every now and then that tan go catch up. Then we gonna be all black, baby.
All right, man. You have a good one, bro.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, those gas prices in California. Whew, y'all tripping out there. Here we go. Had a what's good? Crocky, you know, wild fam. I have a couple people. Here we go. Start this right here. It says, why does everyone say Trey has to develop a quick game like Jimmy? You know what? That's what I do. My bad. You know what? That's a great question. I don't think that Trey Lance has to be Jimmy Garoppolo, but there are gimmies in the offense, and you just want him to feel comfortable taking those. All right. Sometimes because he has more of an aggressive mindset with how he sees the field, teams might sit off and start trying to take that away. If they do that, then you got to take what they give you and really be comfortable with getting the ball out of your hands right now. So it's not to say like, dude, no, he don't got to be Jimmy with the quick game. I like his aggressive mindset, but there will be gimmies in the offense, and you want to be able to take advantage of those. So at least just get comfortable being able to take advantage of those, be aggressive, but when someone wants to give you that, then you take it. We've seen that with Patrick Mahomes, right? A lot of teams are like, you know what, we're going to sit off in too high, and we're not going to let Patrick Mahomes throw behind us. So what do you start doing? Man, I'm just going to take these gimmies. And when the opportunity presents itself, we'll throw the ball down the field. Same with Josh Allen. Remember Josh Allen playing against the 49ers? And he was down there. It was boom, ball in his hand, ball in his hands. Then he would move out the pocket, boom, down the right sideline, boom, hit Beasley. And I'm like, golly, can't do anything with him. He's hitting in the quick game. The short game is working. Then he's hitting long. Like, it's just tough to defend. So with Trey Lance, it's develop that aspect of your game just so, hey, that's another strength. We already know the aggressive mindset is there. Now hit the gimmies. The more he does that, the more difficult it is to defend the 49ers offense. So that's, yeah, he don't gotta be Jimmy. I hope that makes sense what I just said. Here we go. Jaguars signed Arden Key, 1 year, $7 million. That's a decent amount. How much of that is guaranteed? That's a good amount for Arden Key. Here we go. Y'all don't sleep on the Minahu. He was a pressure monster. I like him. I think I saw someone else mention him as well. Yeah, and he was someone who talked about how, man, give me another year in this offense or defense. Excuse me. Give me another year in this defense, man. I'm a wreck shop. I like what the 49ers have on the D line. Now, Deion doesn't want to go get an edge rusher, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, I definitely have been the guy and I've told y'all all along, like, I'm not gonna force any one position. But the 49ers have built an identity on getting after the passer. It helps everyone. It moves the quarterback off his spot. It helps the guys on the back end. You know, if he's a guy, if you could draft a guy that's going to contribute to that, regardless of who you have, and he can come in and really be that guy, I'm all for it. Now, I do think the 49ers have a solid rotation of guys right now. You got Nick Bosa. You guys talked about Minahu. You guys talked about Kerry Hyder. You know, also Ebukam. He's a guy that came on late last year. So I think they have a decent amount of edge rushers and guys that definitely can impact the game. But if they say, all right, these guys are all on 1 year contracts, because they all are, and you're thinking about having a guy that can come in and maybe not have to play right away. Remember, I'm not comparing anybody to Aldon Smith, but if y'all do remember, Aldon Smith, he didn't have to come in right away and be the guy, right? It was like, all right, come in on third downs and just get after the quarterback, come off the edge. Now, Aldon Smith clearly was very special, but if you were able to get a guy that's that and then maybe develop into more of a every down guy, awesome. I would not be opposed to drafting that. I know it's not the sexy thing, but I'm all for getting as many pass rushers as possible. Got my guy Javon here. He says, drive electric. Here's a question for y'all, because everything is supply and demand. So do y'all think that with the rise of gas prices, eventually you'll assume they'll go down, right? I know here in Arkansas, I live in Southeast Arkansas, it got up to about $4 a gallon, and it's gone down. It's about $3.80 now, in that range. Will it continue to go down? Or do y'all think that, man, these gas prices, just like everything else with inflation, will just be high as hell? If that's the case, then supply and demand, will electric cars say, y'all want to run to us now? We're hiking the prices up on these. That's what I would do. See my guy here, my guy Sacktown Izzy says, y'all sleep on Kinlaw for real. You know, I don't think people sleep on Kinlaw. I think Kinlaw, will he be more of a one tech? Definitely got to see that, right? Will he be more of a pure, like, not nose tackle because it's 4-3, the 49ers run, but more of a defensive tackle? Will he take on DJ Jones' role and be a guy that's, look, you don't got to be that 3 tech guy. We got Armstead for that. Be more of a 2-down guy. And maybe eventually grow into a 3-down guy. But I think right now, Kinlaw, if you just say, hey, just come in, 2 snaps, do your thing, let's get off the field. Third down, you got your little speed rush package coming in. NASCAR. Do that. Electric can only run for 4 hours. I'm good. Yeah, that's another thing. And I like going on long drives. Like my family and I, we drove to New Orleans. I really like our drive to California. And not only being able to drive for 4 hours straight and then have to charge up. I don't know about that. But around town, pretty nice. Pretty nice. Especially me. I got a V8 Hemi, Dodge Charger, RT. Feel me? Gas guzzler. Before that, I had the Durango. That was a Hemi too. gas guzzlers. So I always keep getting these gas guzzlers, but the gas in Arkansas is not that bad, man. It shouldn't be. Croc, most people going broke driving that far. I know. Listen, I want to take my wife and my daughter to California, and I'm looking at the gas prices. I'm like, bro, the gas, because you could do like this thing that kind of estimates how much you'll spend on gas if you drive from, wherever you're driving. And but the flights have been crazy. That's what it was. I fly all the time, but I got certain perks I have. So I fly, if y'all don't, I mean, I'll be all over, right? I'll be in California all the time. I'll fly anywhere I want. I could book a flight right now. But if I had to pay for every flight, no way. I wanted to fly my wife and my daughter to California. For them round trip, it was like $1,200. And that's flying them. And I had like looked into a flight like way in like April. It was like deep into April too, like late April. This was like a couple weeks ago. And it was still over $1,200. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Crazy. Appreciate everyone that's in the chat right now. Love and appreciate all y'all. We'll see if anything happens. We'll come back live tomorrow. But y'all know what to do, man. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. All that good stuff. Man, we all family in here. Love everybody's opinions. I appreciate that. Y'all make me think. I like that. Need to be challenged in that way. But y'all know what it is, man. It's San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. See y'all tomorrow. Hit the like button, subscribe button, all that good stuff. We all are out, man. Peace. Peace out.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Croc Talk TV podcast. Peace.